Two.
You turn all that down. I got you.
All right. Okay. I think we're in business now. Apologies for that. I know we are still waiting on some media to make their way back in here, but I believe they'll start to make their way back in as we get started here. We've now been joined by our race-winning crew chief, Jonathan Hassler. Jonathan, congratulations on this win. Obviously, you guys were in a must-win situation. Much like the situation you were in a year ago, you guys won this race, went on to win the championship. Just talk a little bit about coming into this weekend, what this weekend was like for you guys, and ultimately what it feels like to be in this position again.
Yeah, I think, for us, this weekend was a little bit different than a year ago in that there was really, without guys having trouble, no chance for us to get in on points. So we knew it was kind of a must-win scenario. At that, we weren't really racing for stage points. We just needed to, maintain some decent track position. As wild as races typically are here at Martinsville, we just needed to be, in that front 4 or 5 for the last run, and obviously did that and were able to get the win.
All right, we'll go ahead and poll for questions. We'll get as many questions as we can in the time that we have, and we'll start over here. All right, go ahead.
Hey, Justin Bradley from Fox 19 in Cincinnati, Ohio. So just wanted to get your thoughts. You guys walked it off twice in a row, 2 years in a row. Most people dream of doing it one time, but you guys did it twice. So what really is going through your mind right now having accomplished that?
Yeah, it's tough. You almost feel like when you've done it once that the odds of it happening again are, the odds are stacked against you. But you don't let that change the way you focus, the way you prepare. You try to bring the best car, to the track that you can with the most speed, and have a plan for, the strategy and as things change. And like I said, try to be as prepared as you can be and let the results kind of work out the way they do.
All right, go ahead.
Cameron Richardson, NASCAR.com. Jonathan, I'm curious, those last 30 laps, it looked as though as the sun went down, the tires kind of evened out and there wasn't really much of an advantage. But then, you guys are 4 seconds back to Elliott and Larson, and all of a sudden the last 20, you guys just come to life. Just what was your just analysis there, how you guys were able to make up all the time, or was it just all just leaders in traffic?
Yeah, we had our car had been really good on the long run all day long. Hadn't had a ton of long runs to necessarily show that off. But I felt pretty good about our chances when those guys stayed out with 20-some laps on their tires. And from what we've been seeing all day, the tires really kind of fell off a cliff when the guys got to about lap 90 to lap 100. So I know that those guys were going to have to go through that transition. Certainly a little bit disappointed with the way things worked out with that early restart. We lost some positions, but we were able to get ahead of the 9, who was the next one on the same strategy as us. So yeah.
All right, we'll go to Jerry and then Jacob. Go ahead, Jerry.
Jerry Jordan, KickingTheTires.net. So you come in here, you knew you had a must-win situation. Have y'all prepared for Phoenix at all? And what is your scenario for next week going into it?
I'd say on the 12 team, we've done very minor preparations for Phoenix. Just I would say probably 20% of the prep that we'll do. But company-wide, obviously, with the 22 getting the win, our whole company has done a lot of work to get prepared for Phoenix and make sure that we're bringing the best stuff that we can do. So we'll definitely dive into that. And us and really all of the teams at Team Penske work together really well. A lot of times we run very similar, if not the same setups. So we'll definitely we'll be able to dive into those notes and be very competitive next week.
All right, Jacob, go ahead.
Jacob Steelman, Raceface Digital. Jonathan, 2 for you. First, you talked about the long run speed that you guys had, but do you feel like the tire advantage that you guys had pitting later than Elliott and some of the other, or than Larson and some of the others played into that? And if so, how soon through the race did you realize that, hey, if we can get fresh tires late, it's going to be an advantage?
Yeah, I think I think our long run speed probably was what allowed us to get past the 9. But then, those fresher tires allowed us to get past the 5 and 24 that had stayed out. I felt pretty confident that those guys would kind of fall off a cliff. I said we saw it with our own car about like I said, 90 to 100 laps on tires. So I felt good about our chances when they stayed out.
You've worked with Ryan now through these dramatic last two playoff runs. What is it that you've seen out of him, mental fortitude, or what qualities is it that you've seen out of him that makes him so good in these high-pressure situations?
I think the favorite thing that I've seen out of him, he's quick to move on to the next thing that we need to tackle. We obviously had our struggles at Homestead. And I think by the time we got to the plane, honestly, after the race at Homestead, he was focused on Martinsville. And then talked about it a little bit on Monday. And similar, this week on Saturday, we didn't qualify quite as well as we wanted to. We talked about qualifying for about 30 seconds, and he moved on to what he needed to do to have the best chance to win the race.
All right, Davey.
Davey Siegel with Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. Apologies if this was asked before, but was there ever a point tonight where you saw where you were track position-wise, Ryan was getting a little upset on the radio, and you just said to yourself, all right, well, it's on the cards tonight, it's not going to happen. Did you ever have that thought cross your mind?
No, you watch back to a lot of Martinsville races, and I think as long as you stay in the front four, front five, things get kind of crazy. So you'll have a shot, if you get a late race restart, even if you stay in the top 4, 5. And obviously the tire was definitely, was falling off. You had some different strategies. So if you're on the good end of that, even without track position, you'd have a chance to advance. So no, I knew that if we just hung around, we'd have a shot.
All right. Jonathan, congratulations on that win, and best of luck next week.
Thank you.
I'm gonna get rid of all of them except for one chip. Because we're only gonna have Ryan coming in.
He's not bringing anybody else.